We'll record. And let's then get started with some introductions. So let's see, spotlight myself. Oh, here we go, there's my face. Let's take a moment to go through and introduce yourself. So I'll start with myself, Megan Guidry. I am here at NeSI. I am in Auckland, and I'm here to support you guys and to answer your questions and help you run more workshops, carpentries workshops and otherwise. And we'll each have, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to just introduce yourself to the group. So how about Jonah? Why don't you unmute yourself and introduce?
Hi folks, I'm Jonah Duckles. I used to be Director of Membership and Technology in the Carpentries, but I've moved on to work for a local firm here in Dunedin, New Zealand, called Abacus Bio. I still am trying to kind of help out across Tasman, Australia, New Zealand, plus a bit of Asia community growth, just to help out for the next year or so. And so I'm working with the folks at NeSI who help run the umbrella membership, and if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas about how to get more workshops as well, Megan and I will be working very closely together to help make that happen. So.
Cool. Thank you. How about Olivia next?
Oops. Hello, I'm Olivia. I'm at Land Care Research in Lincoln and near Christchurch. So I'm an instructor and had a little bit to do. We ran some workshops last year in collaboration with NeSI. So that was across our sites, but with invites to other, I think, universities and CRIs as well. And I'm an ecologist in the day job.
Thank you. Awesome. And next we'll have Nuria.
Cool. Hi, I'm Nuria. I work at NeSI as their research communities advisor as well. I'm interested in supporting training. I was the interim workshops admin while we didn't have amazing Megan. And I'm a bioinformatician by training. Yeah, really happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, how about Dharani? Let's see.
Hello, I'm Dharani Santam. I am from the Center for E-Research. I was involved in running a software carpentry workshop last year following ResBaz. Yeah, just here to learn about how software carpentries work. Laura?
Laura Armstrong. I've just recently joined the Centre for E-Research, although long-standing member of staff at the University of Auckland. Johnny and I are just kicking off our organisation to hopefully what will be a successful delivery of ResBaz 219 and hopefully followed by carpentries workshops. So that's why I'm interested.
Perfect. Thank you. How about Alexandra next?
Hi, my name is Alexandra. I work for a company called Stencilla, which develops software for research. I have been volunteering with software and data carpentry and working with software and data carpentry and a little bit library carpentry for probably about 5 to 6 years now. I run instructor training and I'm an instructor myself. I run a number of workshops. And I've worked in New Zealand with both universities and CRIs on running workshops and instructor training.
Thank you. And Sebastian.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm Sebastian. I'm in NeSI up in Auckland. I am in my day job, I guess, a senior lecturer here. I've been teaching software carpentry workshops around twice a year here on this campus, and now I'm looking to maybe move into teaching a little bit more advanced workshops, data carpentry or the like.
Awesome. Thank you very much. How about Murray next?
Mary, you're muted.
You're muted. Mary.
Can we come back to you, Mary?
Working?
Okay. All right, we'll come back to Mary. How about Angie? And Spotlight.
Yes, hello. So I'm Angie Lipka. I work in the research support unit of the Otago University Library, and I work very closely with Murray, who you haven't been able to listen to just now. I help him to organise data carpentry and software carpentry workshops, starting to do that this year. We've actually got one starting tomorrow as well. My thing is also library carpentry, so I'm interested in upskilling my colleagues. That's my thing, so I'm an instructor as well, library carpentry instructor.
Awesome, thank you. And how about next, Alana?
Hi guys, my name's Alana. I'm at the University of Otago, and I look like a big black screen because I don't have a webcam. So I am doing a postdoc in genomics, but I've also been involved in doing some of the carpentries and structures down here.
Thank you. Okay, and next is Riku Take. I don't know if that's your whole name or.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Riku. I'm working as an assistant research fellow at University of Otago. Been involved with software carpentry and respace and stuff for a few years now. And yeah, I'm an instructor and seeing what other New Zealand workshops are like.
Thank you, perfect. Okay, let's see, next on the list. And Greg.
You're muted as well.
Okay, is it better now? Hello?
Better there, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Greg, I'm based in Dunedin, where the sun is always bright, as you see behind me. I'm bioinformatics research fellow, but I'm also enjoying in the other life doing instruction as a part of the carpentry. So I'm glad to be in the community.
Awesome, glad to have you. Okay, next. We didn't have David yet, right? Let's go to David.
Hi all, I'm David at NeSI Manawatu, the other NeSI. I'm a bit of a carpentry's leech. I've taught software carpentry a couple of times, but never done the instructor training, and we've been running some kind of mathematics here at NeSI where I've just kind of pilfered data carpentry lessons, modified them for our group, but I've kind of, been on these, so I thought I should jump in and make some kind of contribution back to carpentry.
Fabulous. Glad to have you. Let's see, next up on my list. How about Cher?
Hey everyone, I am Cher. I am in Detroit, Michigan, where it's Sunday, 8 p.m. I am the workshops and logistics manager. I work with all of our regional coordinators, and I am here to support Megan and every one of you.
Thank you, Cher. We love your support. And Sarah, let's see.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Rono. I am based in Tallinn, Estonia, and I am the community engagement lead here at the Carpentries, and it's great to be here.
It's great to have you. All right, who have I not? Let's go back to Murray. Is that going to work for us this time? Not working? Okay, sorry, Murray. Anyone who hasn't been? Oh, Georgina. Let's see.
Hi everyone. Apologies, my internet connection's terrible, so I've jumped onto a cell phone. Hopefully that'll work. It's really awesome to see you all there. Yeah, I'm engagement manager at NeSI, and so in that remit falls training, and training something that NeSI is really passionate about. So we're really keen to see how we can look after this community and help you guys to do the workshops that you want to do.
Fabulous. Okay, and Carrie, we need Carrie to introduce herself. Let's see.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie. I'm the Senior Director of Equity and Assessment for the Carpentries, and I'm in Florida in the United States. Very happy to be on this call.
Thank you. All right. Awesome. I think that was most everyone. Have I missed anyone? Anyone not get a chance to? JL Savage. I don't know who this is. Do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe not. Okay. Yes?
Introductions there. My name is James Savage, and I'm a researcher in behavioural ecology at Cambridge University, where I've also helped with some carpentries instructing. But I spend quite a lot of time in New Zealand, down in Invercargill, working with Doc. So I'm interested in the New Zealand dimension of carpentry's work.
Cool. Thank you. Well, great. It's great to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that's pretty much everyone intro-wise. Thank you all for coming, really. It's amazing that we have, 19 people here on the call today. So next up, we're just going to have Jonah talking for a few minutes about the history of the Carpentries here. So I will go and spotlight Jonah.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Welcome. So exciting to see all of you here, and such enthusiasm for carpentry workshops. And Murray's got a baby on camera. How can I compete with the baby? But this will be awesome. I love the love it. Awesome. So the Carpentries in New Zealand actually predates my involvement in being on the staff of Software Carpentry. So in 2015, I took the position as Executive Director of Software Carpentry, back before Software Carpentry and Data Carpentry were together. But it came out of conversations with NeSI, the New Zealand New Science Infrastructure, talking with Greg Wilson, the founder of Software Carpentry, about bringing these kinds of workshops and trainings into the New Zealand environment, particularly in the context of NeSI's purview over a bunch of research institutions in New Zealand and how they work together to share skills and spread the skills. And so right around the time I started as Executive Director of the Carpentries, it was really exciting to see that NeSI had built their training plan into very much a Carpentries model, and we built kind of a relationship around how we would start running more workshops and how we would start growing the community. Alexandra, who will speak in a little bit, can speak to kind of some of the specific efforts that went into that. But overall, what I want to share with you all is basically that New Zealand is an outsized contributor by its population in the broader Carpentries community. So when you kind of normalize it for population, New Zealand is the most instructor-dense community of any country in the world, followed second by Norway. There's a tweet here on line 35 of the Etherpad that will show you a graph of that data. It's a little bit, it's maybe 6 months or so old, the data that I used for that particular assessment. But I also wanted to draw your attention to our annual report on line 33, to the Carpentries annual report, which will show you a bit of the background of how membership has grown. And NeSI was one of these really early on members who said, hey, what can we do to get more instructor training, more instructors trained at more institutions to run more workshops around the country. So today we have about 80 member organizations in about 10 countries. That's growing every day. I'm not even on top of the latest statistics anymore, but this is a little bit of what I know about what's going on in New Zealand. So in New Zealand, we have the New Zealand New Science Infrastructure organization is a platinum member. The University of Otago is a gold member of the Carpentries, and ESR are silver members of the Carpentries and have just come on board or running their first instructor training. So it's great to see a CRI. I know I heard a couple people from CRIs on here. I think it would be a fantastic way to kind of get CRIs talking to each other, sharing workshops, sharing capabilities, and then NeSI has kind of catalyzed a lot of that already. Across the Tasman and Australia, we have about 7 member organizations: Macquarie, UNSW, Intersect, CSIRO, Monash, Posy Centre way out in Perth, and the Queensland Cyber Infrastructure Foundation. There's ongoing conversations about kind of growing those communities and getting more conversations going. There's a really strong research software engineer, or RSE, community growing in both Australia and New Zealand, thinking about those people who really want to value software as a profession as they move into their later careers and whatnot. And we're trying to build some community conversations around what the sort of opportunities and challenges and ways we can work together to share lessons and skills and teaching topics in this time zone. So it's great to see so many faces here connecting to the calls. We've gotten a lot of feedback that it'd be nice to have more calls that are better for these time zones. So we're going to try and look at the time zone map between Auckland and Perth and try and pick a time that we can get more people connecting together. I put a few more statistics on here just to show you guys the kinds of contribution that this community has been having. We're super excited to find ways to support you. We know that there's a lot of teaching practices that aren't reported back to the Carpentries that are using our techniques and our practices, and that's absolutely fantastic. You should never feel bad about that. We also want to find ways that the Carpentries can evolve to be what helps you feel like you can run, you know, the impactful workshop that your learners need when they need it. So please, in this conversation we have today, let us know. I chose to move myself down here. I arrived in Dunedin nearly 2 years ago to the date. Put my kids in school, lived down here, love it down here. I love seeing the enthusiasm and the excitement in this community. So if there's anything I can help you make the case for your organization, doing more Carpentries, helping people puzzle through that, I'd be happy to help. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Alexandra to give a little bit of background on kind of the past training events. Alexandra Pavlik is really responsible for you know, the growth that happened. I can't remember exactly what year you arrived, Alexandra, but I think it was 2016
yeah, that's
into
correct.
to 2017, really helping to run tons more workshops, tons more instructor trainings. Many of you may have had her as your instructor trainer, and the mic is yours, Alexandra.
Thanks, Jonah. I arrived to New Zealand in 2016. I used to live in the UK. I was working there, also developing the workshops. And in 2016, I believe that was the year when we had the first instructor training in New Zealand that was organized by NeSI, and there was a range of participants from a range of institutions in New Zealand, so both universities and Crown Research Institutes, CRIs. And then from there, because there was a number of people that were trained to become instructors, it was easier to develop a number of workshops. There definitely was, there were organizations that were able to deliver more workshops. Usually these are universities, due to the nature of how universities are, and potentially have a little bit more of a infrastructure and as well as manpower to support that. University of Otago has been particularly active organizing workshops regularly, and Mari has been one of the key people together with Mick Black to run that, but not just them. It's always a community effort. It's always an effort of a bigger team. Another thing that was helping a lot with development of the workshops were research bazaars, so annual events that incorporate elements of the workshops. It's some organizations, some universities are able to run whole workshops during the Research Bazaar, but if not, at least they include some modules. Center for E-Research at the University of Auckland has been particularly good organizing both Research Bazaar, but also research training when they were incorporating the workshops into the program. And another group of people that were incredibly helpful developing both software and data carpentry and nowadays library carpentry are librarians across all universities in New Zealand. And well, you all are here part of the community, but I say it always, and I will say it again, librarians are definitely the allies and friends of carpentries. And with regards to CRIs, it's a bit more challenging to organize workshops in CRIs due to the way how CRIs are structured and how they run, and also how busy CRIs are, how busy their schedules are. I'm not trying to say that universities aren't, but universities are also training organizations while CRIs are focusing on research. However, there is a massive demand among CRIs for that type of training, and we have managed to organize workshops within CRIs. Manaki Whenua Lanka Research has been also very active on that, but plant and food research as well. We organized in 2016, we organized a Lincoln Research Week, at least a research training week, that was organized between a number of CRIs that are based in Lincoln, and that was really well-received event. A number of researchers volunteered their skills to teach computational skills. We had a full software carpentry workshops as a part of it. It was really a great event, and it will be fantastic to repeat that. But as I'm saying, with CRIs, especially if you involve a number of CRIs, that is becoming quite more, a bit more challenging organizationally. It will be great to involve DOC, so happy to hear that there is somebody here, James, that is a DOC connection. I know from a workshop we did with DOC, it wasn't a software carpentry workshop, but it was based on the same model, that there is a demand for that type of training within DOC. And there are more and more researchers every year, every semester, joining the research sector in New Zealand. And some of them come from abroad where they had experience with the workshops. Some of them are freshly trained here in New Zealand, and they might be able to contribute more. So I'd be very happy to see more of the workshops happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra, very much. It's always great to hear your input, because as we will see shortly with my little graphs that I'll screen share, your impact on the community was really large in 2016. Let's see if I can go to share and to see. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so now that we've had some short presentations from Jonah and Alexandra, I'll show you a little figure that I've got from the lovely Carpentries people. As you can see, in 2016, we had a nice peak in the amount of workshops that we had in New Zealand at 14. And in the past 2 years, 2018 and 2017, we had a little bit of a dip. And it's hard to say whether that's just because there weren't as many workshops being recorded in the database in AMI, that the database that Carpentries uses, or if we just purely weren't having as many. Either way, whenever you don't have someone that's focused on making these workshops happen, it tends to fall to the wayside. So thank you to everyone who does step forward and make these events happen. And it's kind of why we're here today, is that 2019 bar. What is it going to look like? What can we do as a community to do better in this year coming up? And what can I do to make it easier for you guys to decide to go forward and do some workshops, or yeah, just spread those workshops around. Okay. And I'd just like to take a moment to shout out those people that have scheduled some Carpentries events. Scion and Rotorua, they're holding one at the end of March at Victoria University, and in Wellington, they're co-hosting one with NIWA. And instructor training is coming up at the end of May for Carpentries instructors. And while I still haven't nailed down a date for that, I will get around to doing that. We are hoping that there are plenty of people excited about doing instructor training and wanting to apply. And if you want to know more information on that, you can email me. And if you want to if you know you want to do a Carpentries workshop, email me or fill out that workshop request form that I have put in the Etherpad at the top under resources. Yeah, I'm super happy to talk to you about what that could look like. Let's see. Yep, so if you are keen to host a workshop, do fill out that form. If you have an idea of who you want to run the workshop for, kind of who might instruct it, where it could be, fill out the form and we can just go from there. It doesn't have to be perfect. We would rather just get some workshops scheduled, put in the calendar, and just make it happen so that those 2019 numbers can be a bit better, and that we can just get used to having these events. It's not easy for sure, but we can do it with the right support. And I think that based on the fact that we have 19 people today, we know that there's interest in getting these workshops up and running around New Zealand. It's just a matter of empowering people to do that. Let's see what else. And now before we go out into breakouts, I just wanted to mention the ways we communicate as a community. There is a topic box, Carpentries topic box. The link is in the Etherpad, also under resources. I believe that the topic box that I linked to is for Australia and New Zealand, so we can talk about if we want to have a New Zealand specific one. Also, do people like having a Slack channel? These are just things to think about. No need to shout out just yet. We can talk about it in a minute. Do we want to specifically New Zealand Carpentry Slack channel? How often do you guys think community calls would be useful? And also email lists. If you're really keen on staying up to date with what's happening in the training community in New Zealand, could you please take a moment now to put maybe your email by your name in the Etherpad? If your name's not there, put your name down too. But we just want to make sure no one gets left out. Everyone is up to speed on what's happening and feels supported in making these workshops happen. Okay, so that's that. We're going to go into breakout rooms now, and I have never actually done breakout rooms, so hopefully that works smoothly. But the questions I want you to focus on when you go into your groups of 3 would be, what prevents you now from running, teaching, or participating in a Carpentries workshop, or other workshop for that matter? It doesn't have to be limited to Carpentries. And then if you have time, a couple minutes at the end of your breakout session, just talk about amongst your group how you like to communicate and share knowledge as a community. Are you guys into Slack or emails or community calls, all the above? Let's talk about that. And please, if you wouldn't mind sharing your thoughts on the Etherpad so that we can keep track of what everyone is thinking. Let me see if I can actually go through and make the breakout rooms. So yes, if everyone could just record what everyone's talking about in the Etherpad, that would be fabulous. And if it helps, you can go, whenever you go into your breakout rooms, if you go in alphabetical order based on first name, just have a few minutes to talk about what prevents you from running, teaching, or participating in Carpentries workshops. At the end of, let's see, what time is it? It's 1:37. So if we just do 10 minutes, about 3 minutes each person, and then we'll come back as a big group and talk about what we've come to. All right, so let's get going. Hello, peoples, coming back. Awesome. Cool, everyone came back. Yep, everyone's back. Cool. How was that? Thumbs up. Did that work? Yay. Cool. Breakouts are awesome. Okay. So I would like to take a few minutes. We're getting actually close to the end of the meeting. But a few minutes for each group to just share some thoughts. Not everyone, just whoever feels most compelled. So I know Jonah, Olivia, and Sebastian were in a group. Does anyone want to jump in and share kind of what you guys were thinking about what prevents you from participating in these workshops?
I can summarize what I heard from Sebastian and Olivia. In the university environment, so Sebastian's at the university, Olivia's at a CRI. Olivia said it was easier to actually schedule workshops than she has kind of coverage from management allowing for the time and upskilling and training. Sebastian had trouble with training PhD students, got to a great point where they were running the workshops and then they all left, which was somewhat challenging. So now he's back to being the one running workshops. And we also talked about ways that you can split workshops up over a number of days. So a 2-day workshop, if you can't find the time, you can say 4 Friday mornings in a row, we're going to do a workshop and split it up. And so, yeah, we had a bunch of other stuff, but the notes are in the.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great. Sounds like a good conversation. How about Alana, Auntie, and Darani? Who would like to share? Anyone? Jump in there. No? Yes?
Sorry, I can. Oh, have we both stepped in at the same time? No. Okay, right. I'll just very quickly say a big thing that we talked about was burnout. So at Otago, there are quite a lot of workshops. So Lana just said sometimes when you run in a workshop and then if the following week or a couple of weeks later you ask to another one, that can be a bit of a strain. Lack of time, of course, is a big thing as well. That came up for a couple of us. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Awesome. Did you other guys want to step in and say anything else? That was pretty much consensus. Guess to the minutes. Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Burnout. I think that's an issue too with like the people that train the trainers. There aren't too many people with that authority or enough skill to do that, and that's an issue. There's only a few of those in New Zealand. How about Greg, Riku, share? Anyone want to jump in, share what you guys thought?
I can go ahead. Okay, so we discussed a lot of time was the main limit. Yeah, we are lucky that we have a Murray around, so we haven't been really into the pain of setting up the workshop, which is something that would be the next level. Yeah, we have a lot of discussion of self versus centrally organized, and here around we decide, when we don't decide, we just like come to the point that it was most self-organized because we have large groups of folk that we know each other, and it would be, you know, quite not easy, but now Murray knows who to contact. So I think it's quite good for us. And I think it's all. If I miss something, just shout.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Cool. And next, Alexandra and George. That's an interesting breakout combo.
Yeah, we had a brief catch up, I'll be honest, but we also discussed about the fact that we both were busy in our regular roles, and also George had a lot of challenges related to NeSI new platforms, and last year was filled up with training for that and reaching out to the users and coordinating with the organization. So that is, and that's a huge work, because all that involves basically everybody who uses NeSI or will be using NeSI. So that was that was something which was a big contributing factor to lack of time. But as Georgina says, now, especially with Megan joining NeSI, it should be easier to provide more support across New Zealand from NeSI side towards the workshops.
Cool. Yes, I hope so. I hope that you guys feel comfortable coming to me with any questions you have about putting on workshops. We want to share the load. We don't want anyone to feel burnt out and kind of overwhelmed. That's what we're working towards anyway. Next one, Noria just had to go. So does Murray, did you guys have anything you want to share?
Is that working?
I think it is actually.
Cool. So we had, again, like the difficulty in finding 2 days worth of time, both for time and venues that were free. And also, like, our current lot of instructors and helpers, there's the awareness that a lot of them come from a particular group, and to not try and pull on any particular group of people too much. And the other thing that we had was that there's a lack of awareness about workshops that are being run elsewhere. So, like, if you had people at an institution that could perhaps go to, like, a different not their own institution to gain the training, that we don't currently have a way of that being communicated. And that was pretty much it.
Thank you. Yeah. So kind of getting the awareness out there. I think in the training communities BOF that we had at eResearch, that was a big issue in the community, making sure everyone's aware of what other people are doing, and on the trainer side and participant side. So that's so true. Last group was Carrie and James. Any insights there?
Very similar to what Murray just said, except from my perspective as someone whose institution is not in New Zealand, the one I would say first is the difficulty of finding who to talk to and how to, find spaces to work in, and how to who to talk to collaborate with on stuff in New Zealand, which is obviously why I joined this call in the first place.
Great, awesome. So that's a great segue into kind of anyone can jump in and say what they think. I also posed that question, how would you guys like to communicate moving forward? I think these community calls are great. Hopefully I can get better at organizing them over time. But along with the calls, how do you guys want to be able to communicate with each other? Anyone have, like, the Slack channel? Do we need a New Zealand specific one? Topic box. What are your favorite kind of tools that you use to communicate now? And should we kind of all get on the same page? Any thoughts there from anyone?
I really like Slack. These community phone calls are cool, but I'm one person in an office of 5, and there is very little meeting room outside. So although I enjoyed getting to do the breakouts, I ended up totally ghosting Antje and Duani because I had my boss walked in and started talking to me. And so it's cool to be able to do these face-to-face calls, but at least in Slack, I don't need to worry about me all chattering in my ear when I'm trying to talk to you guys.
Noted. All right. That's a good point. Any other feedback on the community call from anyone? What could I do better? What could we all do better?
I will say, this is Carrie. I don't know about you all, but I think we probably hit a sweet spot with this time. And I'm sure with a little bit more advanced notice as well, we could probably get even more people on this call. We've been trying so hard to figure out the best times for different communities, and it seems like this might be a pretty good time, or at least as an option. So I know I'm writing that down in my own notes whenever I'm looking to organize some of the other community discussions, trying to be as, trying to just make sure that they are at times where more people can attend, and this seems like it's a pretty good time for the New Zealand community, in addition to Australia possibly.
Cool. Yeah. Does everyone agree that, is this a good time for you guys? You can put like yes in the chat or no, or if you know someone couldn't make it, maybe that's worth a no. Okay, cool. And so we're getting close to the end of time. I'm just going to go through a few points before some of you guys probably have to go at 2. So what did I need to say? I'll add your name to the email. Add your email to your name on the Etherpad if you haven't and you want to stay up to speed on happenings in the training community. Put your email down there on the Etherpad. And let's see, I did put the workshop request form on the Etherpad. So if you do know that you want to do one, you can fill that out, send it, and submit that. I'll get that. Or email me. And thank you guys so much for coming. We really can't have a community call without you guys. And I really look forward to doing it again. I hope you had a good time. And if you have feedback, you can send it to me, and hopefully it'll get just better from here. So thank you all for coming.